Welcome back to our local business spotlight, where today we're talking to Wright Bailey Eyewear Emporium in Bishop Stortford, a fantastic local business where we'll be talking to the owner, Robert. Come on in and let's have a chat. So I'm here with Robert William Morris, who heads up Wright Bailey here in Bishop Stortford. Robert has a super interesting history and career to date. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us, Robert. For those that aren't familiar with you and perhaps the Wright Bailey and your history and how you got here, perhaps you could tell everyone a little bit about you.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Adam, for the opportunity to tell people about the business. So my history really is, I've been very involved in the eyewear business for more than 30 years. Long history. I had my own brand, which was called William Morris, which some of the people watching this may know of. I sold that brand around about 2.5-3 years ago. We were local, distributed that brand all over the world. But it was all wholesale, so we sold it in the UK, but we also sold it to Australia, New Zealand, Africa, just about everywhere you can imagine in the world. And then I sold the business, and naturally I had a period of time when I was transitioning my business into the new business, and after that I had a kind of what they call non-compete for a while, and then when the non-compete finished, I decided to do something different in a way, so and still related to the business.
Yes.
So I created Wright Bailey, this new brand. We are selling to the local community. I should say, if I may, that all the frames are designed in-house. So I do all the design and marketing around the brand. I've never done retail before, so it's a completely new sort of project for me. And you might say, why do a retail shop? Well, I think a couple of reasons for that. One is we fell in love with this particular location. I don't know if you know the history of this building, but it goes back to 1604. There's loads of history. I think it's perfect sort of backdrop for the Wright Bailey brand. And we wanted to do something different to what other opticians are doing. So although we do sight tests, and we've got a fantastic equipment out the back, we work with Zeiss lenses. We do the medical side, but we're very heavily focused on the sort of fashion side and the styling side. I think that's probably what kind of sets us slightly aside from other sort of optical outlets, if you want to call them that. We spend an awful lot of time on styling people, so when they come out of having the sight test, we sit them in front of the mirror, and we bring frames to them and we give them a whole experience, if you like, which I love. And it's great to see my product on real people in effect, get the feedback from those people. And the next step for us is that we are going to start wholesaling the brand as well. So we're going to be selling to independent opticians, and we're going to be launching the brand at our first show, which is in Paris in September. Yes. We will be reaching out again to the export market. So it's quite an exciting time.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot's going on, which is great. So, well, it's interesting you touched on that, because I know you mentioned the experience is, not your typical opticians or not necessarily coming in for an eye test. For people of Bishop Stortford that are watching it that maybe haven't been here and haven't seen inside, what does the kind of process look like? I get can have the eye test, which is one part. When it comes to essentially if they do need glasses or looking to make a change or change their image, is that something that you'll sit down with and talk through them, or is it?
Absolutely. I think that's a massive part of what we do. And I think, we live in a very sort of image conscious world. I think most people, whether you're a man or a woman, want to look younger. I think, we get huge pleasure in a way from taking people outside of their comfort zone in effect, and sort of encouraging them to go into eyewear, which is a little bit more daring. one of our catchphrases here about the brand Wright and Bailey is the product is what we call conservatively different.
Yeah.
So it is different, but it is wearable. It's not extreme fashion. So I think that's the bit that we really, really enjoy. And I think the patients or customers, as we call them, I think that's the bit that they really enjoy too. It's that styling part and actually getting excited about what they're wearing rather than it being a functional thing. It's a fashion accessory.
Yes.
And I'll give you a quote, which I wish I'd thought of it, but it was a quote I heard many years ago. Someone said, "Your face is a work of art.
Yep.
Frame it well."
Wow.
And I think that's what we're all about. We're all about framing that face and making it look really, and interesting, but also I think just loving what you're wearing.
Yeah.
That kind of, so a bit like clothes in a way.
Absolutely. And I think your approach to eyewear has maybe trickled into how you've designed the shop here, because it's very aesthetically pleasing, very visually nice to look at, and it creates a really nice atmosphere in that, like you say, it's not just a place to come in and, have an eye test and go through the formalities. Yes. It's more, a lifestyle as well, and actually to kind of get something which is almost quite bespoke to someone and tailored to their face, and not just the kind of mass markets, which is.
No, and it's a good point you touch on, Adam, there, because, one thing we do is to try to encourage our customers to come back as frequently as they want to. I mean, just literally to pop in and maybe have a coffee or a glass of Prosecco with us and enjoy the environment, so they're not necessarily coming in to purchase something, or they're not necessarily coming in to have an eye test. Yeah. They're just coming in because they enjoy the environment and us being part of the community, which is one of the reasons why we're doing a lot of events here as well, because we want to be part of the community and give something back. Behind you is a painting actually from a local artist, and she used the premises to do a talk to the community. We had a makeup artist here recently doing a talk on makeup. We've got a Colour Me Beautiful event coming up on the 18th of September. Again, because we want to invite the community to come into the practice and share the sort of experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the ones that I think certainly I would say I've noticed is that, you can drive past the building many times and you don't actually realise. And I saw the name and thought, Wright and Bailey, well, maybe that's a bigger company, but actually, an independently owned business here in Bishop Stortford is and very much involved in the community, which is great. So, the Colour Me Beautiful sounds.
No, and that's a great point you make, that we are independent and we're we want to sort of champion that, if you like. And so yes, we do really want to be part of the community and promote us, but also look after, our customers in a way that we can be proud of, and I think that they, in a very positive way, can pass on to their friends and family, the experience that they've had here.
Absolutely. And with that, on that community note, I guess, coming from, running an internationally recognised brand and essentially finding yourself here in Bishop Stortford, quite local, how's that journey been? How have you found it, and the community and the support you've had?
Well, interesting, because I've lived here for probably about 30 years now. Okay. Yeah, so I ran my original business from Little Hangbury.
Yes.
Lovely building there, the mill. I don't know if that means anything to you and your viewers, but Bishop Stortford's just become, my children were born here, educated here. Yeah. It's become very much a part of our lives, Bishop Stortford. And I think even down to caring about what goes on outside of our business. Yes. And I've got some interesting meetings, hopefully coming up with a local councillor and also with the independent newspaper, just to talk about how we can, make our town even more a destination where people want to come to and enjoy shopping, and et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to, I guess, obviously the glasses and the eyewear trends that you have here, how would you say Bishop Stortford's responded to that? Is there would you say Bishop Stortford's quite conservative in their style, or are they quite bold with how they like to pick?
Actually, I think it's a good question, and I think it's an interesting one, because Bishop Stortford now is made up of kind of local people, but of course there's an awful lot of people that have come here from London, in particular, you know, because the schools are so good here and because the environment is so friendly. And also I think in terms of eyewear, I think, you know, people do want a different look. Sometimes they're not always brave enough to do it themselves. So, you know, they need our help. And, you know, the whole process that we go through, we start quite safe.
Yes.
And we gradually go into something which is a little bit more unusual.
Yes.
And it's almost like, you know, when a patient or a customer leaves, they're so excited about that new look, you know. So I think people come in feeling quite conservative, but leave feeling a little bit more excited about eyewear. So yeah, that's part of our approach. And I don't think Bishop Stortford is particularly conservative. Actually, I think there's some great, and even walking around the streets now, I'm seeing some people dress really well. And I think they're, you know, becoming more aware of in general about what they're wearing. So yeah, I know it's interesting. I was going to mention something else, but I can't remember what it was. But I'll come back to it.
No, of course. And in you know, on that note of style and choices, is there a particular favourite frame of yours, perhaps that you have, or?
Well, there's probably and that's the point.
And a hard question. So
no, and actually, it was the point I was going to mention. So you brought me back to it. I think. What's interesting here is the biggest selling designs in the shop. Are not necessarily the biggest selling designs on the wholesale market.
Okay.
And if I may say it, at the risk of offending some of my friendly competitors, there are companies like ours who make very interesting eyewear. There is the consumer who wants interesting eyewear, and in the middle sometimes is the optician who doesn't always understand that, because most opticians come from a medical background. We come from a fashion background. So they're very, very comfortable when it comes to the medical side of the business, and they do a fantastic job at it. They're not always so comfortable when it comes to the fashion side. So I think that's kind of where we link in. And what was the second part of that question?
Do you have a favourite frame?
Yes.
Have a put on the spot now a bit.
No. Well, we have favourite families in a way.
Okay.
Because in a way, Wright Bailey's kind of made up of different families. And my favourite on the ladies' side, we've got some, there's three in particular frames, the Bet, the Monroe, and the Kelly. Just fantastic. And really different in terms of colours and shapes. And on the men's side, I think in a way that's probably the most challenging bit, because men generally are quite conservative. So they don't want to step out of that comfort zone. And by the way, all of our frames, when I talk about the Monroe and the Kelly and the Bardot, they're all named after 1950s sort of iconic people. But no, I think men are the biggest challenge, but men can really get excited about again, stepping out of that comfort zone and going into something different. So frames like the Ray, the Mitchum, the Sinatra, they're our sort of favourite frames.
Absolutely. And with the frames that you do, because I had a bit of a look, are all of them on the website, or is that a selection of?
No, they're all on the website. And in fact, we've just got, and that's part of our concept. We're just about to launch 10 new designs.
Oh wow!
All again. Come in 3 different colours. Again, no disrespect again to a lot of opticians, but most opticians only stock 1 colour. We do a minimum of 3 per design. So we'll launch, and part of our model is that every season we'll launch new designs. So there's always something coming out, always conservatively different, sometimes pushing the boundaries a little bit. And of course, once you're a Wright Bailey customer, we'll automatically will notify you and say new collections out for autumn winter. Maybe you just like to pop in, have a coffee, a glass of prosecco, have a look at them.
Absolutely.
And if I may mention it too, the price point is so good on the frames for the quality. Because the frames are all made from Italian acetate. They've all got German hinges. The quality is excellent. But again, our model is to price the frames at a price whereby somebody would, if they want to change their look halfway through the year, they're very happy just to pop in and say, look, I want a new pair of glasses. Rather than, I've spent an awful lot of money on a pair of glasses. These need to last me for 2 or 3 years before I go back to the optician. So, price-wise, that's why we're doing that. We want to encourage people to have more than one look.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's one of the really nice bits, because I think on that price point, with, the aesthetic of the shop, the quality of materials that you've used, the clear care that's gone into all of the, all of the products that you've got, I think one of the misconceptions I had is that they're going to be really sort of high-end price, but they are actually quite reasonable for people, and certainly for, the quality of what you're getting. It's done very competitively, which is, I think, a bit of a surprise that some people may think it's a bit too much.
No, you're right. I mean, it's one of our challenges. It's the fact that the perspective on the shop, especially when you stand outside and you see the people working in the shop, people think, gosh, I bet that's a high-end store. And we are high-end in terms of service and quality and all the rest of it. But actually, the price point for the frames, as I say, is deliberately priced so that people will come back more regularly. And have several pairs of glasses.
Absolutely. And once you're a Wright Bailey, customer or client, you get invited to, I think, some of the number of events you've mentioned that you've got coming on, which is great. So, real community feel, which is nice. So.
Yeah, you're automatically a VIP customer to any of our events. And of course, we'd encourage any of our customers to bring their friends and family to the event. So exciting times.
Absolutely. And in terms of that, community and touching on that point, obviously we're big advocates for Bishop Stortford, as I know you are, having lived here. Since you've opened, how have you found it? Have you stumbled across any, particular hidden treats or hidden gems that you'd like to shout out, or favourite coffee spots at all?
Well, I've certainly sort of stumbled upon some hidden gems in terms of people. I mean, we've met some fantastic people, really, really interesting people, and had some amazing conversations with them. I actually didn't realise there was such a lovely variety of people in Bishop Stortford, because when you live here and you don't have a business, you kind of rush around and you might put your hands up at people, but you don't get to know them. Whereas here, we've really got to know some fantastic characters, And in terms of eating places, I mean, we've of course got our favourites, and one of my favourites is across the street, Le Pêche. Ludo, who's just opened that place recently, great coffee during the day. He's now opening in the evening, so we kind of frequent there as often as possible. But I think, we are very much an advocate of what we're trying to do here, which is we do try wherever possible to support local independent businesses. So whether it's a restaurant or a coffee shop or whatever, that's our kind of go-to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Bishop Stortford is actually really quite good for supporting independent.
Absolutely.
I know you look at some towns, and I think in terms of our town, we're quite privileged in that if you are an independent business, you do tend to do quite well and have the support from the community, which I think is great. So
I agree with that. It's one of the things that always stops people in the street when we say we're independent. They often do stop and say, okay, we'd like to support you. I think it's really nice. I agree.
But it sounds like, exciting things coming up. Is there anything else, exciting that you'd like to share with us, or any plans for the future that you're looking to dive into, I guess?
I guess what's exciting for us as a business really is first of all, is building this business, because it is, we're brand new. And so, every customer is a new customer. So I think in terms of events, I mean, I'd say watch this space. We're busy thinking about what comes after Colour Me Beautiful. Christmas is coming. Will we do something there? I think we want to try wherever possible to surprise our customers, to do things differently. I think you can probably see from our windows as well.
Absolutely.
We're always trying to surprise our customers. And I think for the brand, of course, now what's really exciting is going to the show in Paris, showcasing the brand there, showcasing in effect the shop as well, because we'll be telling all of our customers and about here and what we're doing. So I think, it's just ongoing. Yes, it's not an ongoing development.
No, it sounds fantastic. And for those, people in Bishop Stortford that may be watching now, that aren't familiar with obviously Wright Bailey and haven't been to the shop, anything you'd like to say to them or tell them?
No, I think the only thing I'd like to to encourage in a way, Adam, is to say, just come in.
Yeah.
Just come in and say hello. Don't feel, you have to buy something if you come in.
Yeah.
Just come and meet the team.
Yeah.
Come and see what we're all about. Have a coffee with us.
Yeah.
Have a chat.
Yeah.
Get to know us.
Yeah.
If you like what you see, and I'm sure they will, be part of the the Wright Bailey journey. But I don't want people to feel any kind of, when they walk across that threshold in a way, I don't want people to feel there's any kind of obligation to purchase. I would encourage people to have, and you and I spoke about it earlier, regular eye checks for the health side, and that's a whole another subject about why they should be doing that. But no, I think my message probably would be just come and say hi. Just come and see us, and hopefully enjoy the experience.
And it's a really nice way to operate how you do. I mean, I found it from visiting is that it's very very laid back, very customer focused on what will complement the individual, not pushing the product.
Absolutely.
And there's certainly no hard sell. There's no like you say, no obligation, no pressure. It's very much about finding something that suits and makes someone happier and ultimately gives them that, which I think the experience, the customer service, certainly from my side and what I've experienced has been absolutely fantastic.
Thank you for that. Well, we have had good feedback, and what I don't want to do is compromise on quality. In terms of the frames we spoke about, but on the lens side, we only work with Zeiss. And why do we work with Zeiss? Because they're top 3 in the world, one of the top 3 suppliers in the world. The quality is excellent. Yes, you can buy cheaper lenses. Will you be happy with them in the long term? I'm not so sure. So I don't want to compromise on that bit.
No.
The sight test, the lenses, the quality has to be there, because I think we can all buy cheaper.
Yes.
But often we're disappointed.
Yes.
And I think that's one element of the business that I don't want to compromise on.
No, absolutely. Well, if you haven't obviously been to visit Wright Bailey, I would strongly recommend coming down to obviously meet Robert and the team. A fantastic local business and truly one of the assets that makes our town what it is. So, Robert, thank you so much for taking the time.
It's really a pleasure. Thanks for coming to see us.
No, you're very welcome.